All right, so the first thing that a lot of players mess up when it comes to their step back or shooting off separation is what I call late targeting, meaning that they find the rim too late in their movement, right? So that basically just means this. If I'm trying to hit a step back or something, if I'm targeting late, it means that I'm getting my separation, I'm going into my shot, and I'm finding the rim late as the ball comes up to my set point or wherever I'm bringing it up to, right? Late targeting is a huge issue because basketball is a hand-eye coordination sport, right? The longer you aim at something, the more accurate you're gonna be, right? Think about it like shooting a bow and arrow. I don't aim my bow and arrow at the ground, pull it up and fire it immediately. No, I aim at my target, I stare it down, I relax, and then I fire the arrow, right? Basketball is the exact same thing. So think about anytime you're shooting out of separation, the earlier you can get your eyes on target, the more accurate it's gonna be. So if I'm getting like a step back now, instead of stepping back, going up, finding the rim, I wanna find the rim as I'm stepping back, right? So as I'm coming out of my separation, my eyes are going up to the rim. That way my body can make all these calculations the entire time I'm moving, how far away I am, where the defender's at. In real time, the longer I am, the more accurate I'm gonna be. So try to get your eyes on rim as early as possible. You're gonna make a lot more step backs and separation shots. I promise you, just this alone can increase your step back shooting percentage by 5, 10, 15%. Like that. It's crazy. This is kind of like the miracle when it comes to shooting. Okay, so make sure you're getting your eyes up early. Now, a big piece of this, your handle's got to be right. If you're not good at ball handling and you go to like hit a crossover step back or something and you fumble and lose the ball, you're going to be looking at the ball trying to catch it, and it's going to be harder to target, right? So you got to work on your handles. That's kind of a big piece of targeting. So make sure you're getting your eyes up as early as possible. All right, the next key that absolutely kills most people on their separation jumpers is having their chest up. Now, this kind of is rooted in a little bit of a shooting myth, but also because you're moving backwards generally away from the hoop. This is why it happens, right? So what I mean by that is most of the time when players shoot step backs or separation, as they're launching back, their chest is up like towards the rim, right? Kind of at this angle, almost straight towards the wall, this direction. Now, the reason why this is bad is number one, it pulls my balance backwards, and most of the time if I'm shooting off separation, I'm already moving backwards. So that's one of the huge reasons why you're probably missing your step back short, right? Have you ever just had like a great move and a great step back, you break an ankle, the guy goes down, you go to shoot, and it feels perfect, and then you just miss front rim? That happens a ton, and it's probably because your chest was up, right? So instead of having your chest up, on your step back when you're landing, you want to load or land loaded like you're a spring, right? So as I come back and I get my separation, instead of having my chest up, I want to have my chest down, right? By doing it like this, it's super simple, but it loads my hips, gets that extra power factor right here, and it gets me on balance more than I would be if I was straight up and down, right? So actually, balance, people assume you need to be straight up and down like this. But no, we want to have our chest down, pointed about 3 feet to the ground in front of me, and my hips loaded. If I can do that, if I can land in this position, I'm going to have just a little bit more power, a little bit more pop, and most of the time that's enough to actually make the shot. So think about it like this. Your body's a giant spring. As you land, you want to land loaded, right? So I want my body to crunch as I'm coming back out of that separation. That way I got more spring, more pop. I'm not going to miss short as much. All right, next key, do not, and I repeat, do not plant your heels into the ground. And what I mean by that is this. As I'm getting my separation, a lot of times we'll see players when they go to kind of load on that separation or step back, they get their space and their heels plant into the ground, right? Now the problem is anytime your heels plant into the ground, that's basically gonna drive your momentum through your heels and it's gonna go straight into the ground and you're not gonna be able to get it returned back up through your body, right? So this is another reason why a lot of times players miss short on their step back or their separation jumper. So instead, think about trying to keep a cushion of air between your heels and the ground and landing on the balls of your feet. If you watch all of the elite shooters, pretty much all of them have that gap of air between their sneaker and the ground because it kind of acts as a natural springboard into their jumper, right? So as I'm getting ready to shoot, now when I land, I want to keep this pocket of air back here, load on the balls of my feet. That way it allows my heels to start springing and it allows my ankles, knees, and hips to all fire at the same time, get a ton more power and pop. And it is crazy. If you implement this on your step back, I guarantee you will instantly get more power, more range, just by doing this one tiny little tweak. So think about it. Anytime you're getting that space, you want to go balls of the feet, heels up, and pretend like you're firing into the ground like it's hot lava, so you're getting a quick spring off the balls of your feet, gives you more power, more pop, and you won't miss it short. And most of the time, it's also gonna make for a lot faster step back jumper. That's why guys like Steph Curry and James Harden, no matter how the defender plays them, it seems like they can always get the jumper off. This is a big reason for that. All right, so the next major key, and I kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but it's balance. Now we gotta kind of redefine balance in your head. right? Most of the time people think of balance as something that's stationary, you know, kind of the generalized, hey, how long can you stay in that position? That means you're balanced, right? So a lot of coaches will tell you, hey, you want to be straight up and down, just like this, and you want to be able to hold the position for like 5 minutes. That's not true. We don't need to hold a step back position for 5 minutes. We need to hold it for like less than a second, right? So balance is actually different because we have to counterbalance the momentum that we're moving backwards, right? So if you watch most guys that are shooting step backs, especially the elite players in like the NBA, when they're on balance on their step backs, that doesn't mean they're straight up and down. That means they're loaded forward like we talked about earlier with their chest pointed to the ground. They're on the balls of their feet and their nose is actually either over their knees or sometimes even farther if they're going a lot of distance backwards. And the reason why is if my momentum's traveling this way, I've got to counteract my body the opposite way to ensure that I'm not going to fall backwards when I go to shoot, right? That's how momentum works. It's like physics and stuff. I don't know. That's not really my strong suit. But Jake's laughing because he knows I didn't do well in science class. But what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're counteracting that momentum going backwards while we're trying to shoot forwards. Does that make sense? So balance, like I mentioned, first key, number one, keep your chest down. The second key that can really help is to target through your eyebrows. Target through your eyebrows, and I'll explain that here because this is a term that very few coaches actually use, right? So basically, most of the time when players go to target out of a step back, they keep their eyes in the center of their head, and then they look up to find the rim, right? To do this, to look up, it automatically pulls my chest up, unlocks my hip, pulls my palms backwards. It's kind of a chain reaction down the body that can cause you to miss a lot of step back shots. So instead, you watch the elite step back shooters, Steph Curry, James Harden of the world, all that sort of stuff. As you're getting that space, they look through their eyebrows like this while keeping their head steady. So your eyes are up through your eyebrows instead of moving your whole head, right? And now when I get my separation and I come back, I'm keeping my head steady. I can target the whole way through, but it doesn't pull my chest up, doesn't pull my hips out, right? So that's a huge key to balance, is we can still stay on balance with my nose over my knees just like this by keeping my eyes through my eyebrows. That way I've got nice screen, nice pop, and I'm ready to be on balance to counteract my momentum. All right, so the next key is a little bit of mentality, and that's confidence. A lot of players are not confident in shooting out of separation, and because of it, they're never gonna be good at it, right? And so the whole key to confidence is I say reps plus success equals confidence. So number one, you've gotta go into the gym and get your reps, right? Now the problem is, if you didn't watch this video before, or you didn't have a coach tell you, which you probably don't because most coaches don't actually know this stuff, is if you didn't practice the right way, you're not gonna have confidence after those reps, right? You can go to the gym and if you shoot, 500 step back jumpers and you miss them all and they're all short and you all brick them, you're not gonna be very confident. The next time you get in a game, you're gonna be like, ugh, I shouldn't really shoot this step back. You're gonna get separation, you're gonna kind of, hesitate, think about it for a second, and you're not gonna hit near as many shots because of it. Confidence is so incredibly important. So what I would say is all the other tips in this video, you've gotta practice first inside of a gym. That way you can get confident. So once you get in a game, now you're unstoppable, right? Because now you shot 500 shots in the gym, you're like, man, I hit like 350 of those. I'm lights out now. Nobody's stopping me. I'm gonna get that space. I'm gonna knock it down. You gotta be confident. Mindset as a shooter is so incredibly important. It's one of the things that separates like okay, mediocre shooters to the elite level shooters, right? So make sure you're getting your reps in, you're practicing all the tips that I talked about today. That way you're more confident in shooting step back situations.